volume set. Oh, here we go.
All right, I think we're live. I'm not sure. I still don't get this YouTube thing. All right, I should give Sylvie the link.
Bit low.
I barely hear you.
So you're miles away.
How about now?
Yes, there you are. Wow, this is a
Okay,
wonderful,
that's good.
awkward start of this video. Welcome to a new live stream. We had big Sonic news, and we're going to talk about Sonic X and IDW again. But first, I'm going to check if everything we're doing is fine. In the meantime, Luke, you had a recent project.
Yeah, I've voice acted in a Lego Batman fan animation by Pudgeball Productions called Batman: The Night in the Dark Alley, where I voice Alfred, the butler. This is the third Lego Batman animation I voiced in when I voiced Alfred, and out of them, this is the best one I voiced in because you got really good effects, the frame rate's good, and it's worth checking out. I mean, even the Lego version of Alfred in that looks a bit like me.
I didn't even see Alfred in the episode I watched. You only were on the phone with Batman?
No, you didn't watch near the end.
Oh,
You watched the whole thing. Did you watch the whole thing?
I guess I missed out. I guess not. No, I remember impressive rain effects at the start and a weird, awkward fight in the apartment. And no, I guess
Yeah, there was a bit near the end where Alfred confronts Bruce in the Batcave.
All right. I guess I missed out then. It's been a stressful day for me getting this ready.
I understand.
All right, so yes, Captain.
I was just going to say greetings, friends.
Oh, there you go. Greetings, friends, indeed. Well, that was an awkward start. All right, so we had Sonic News, Sonic Revelations, and I filmed my own first reactions to my live reactions. So we're going to watch that because a friend of mine edited, so I guess I can't say no, I'm not showing it now after all that work. So for historical reasons, you get to witness my live reactions to the new Sonic projects. Enjoy. Greetings, everyone. So the Sonic Central announcement video has aired, and due to the many requests of people I received, I decided to record my reaction to the video as well, and join the popular trend of YouTube of watching people react to a video. Amazing, right? And because I'm such a super exciting and interesting person, I barely reacted, so here just a highlight, enjoy or something. It's important to document this, so the rest of the world can see the importance of my first reaction to this historical moment. It's revealed that Sega is making these Sonic games.
His friends continue to bring joy to people around the world, and that means everything.
What was that? Oh, that's great. Poor Sega, just can't get it right.
Well, there we go.
Well, here we go again.
Take two.
Oh, no green hills on yet?
So they're copying Nintendo with the orchestras.
I guess. Well, they did this long
and look forward to enjoying this performance on Sonic's birthday, June 23rd, for free. In the comfort of your own home. Be sure to tune in to Summer Game Fest for an exclusive sneak peek. Next up is 2 Point Hospital.
Hey, your favorite game.
Design and manage a complex healthcare institution and cure some very unusual ailments. Sonic will be visiting patients in need with exclusive Sonic-themed in-game items and customization.
I thought Sonic was a disease. Yet.
Staff outfits to your favorite characters, or add some swanky Sonic decor to your hospital. Stay tuned for more information on future collaborations throughout the year.
No, not Minecraft.
And
Come
now,
on.
prepare for the ultimate Sonic
That was
rush.
Minecraft.
Speaking of stealing from Mario,
Hmm.
Sonic Colors, here it comes. We knew it was coming. Well, that's at least it'll save me money, 'cause I'm not gonna buy this garbage. New song? Where are the blocky sections, you liars? That's not what the game is like at all.
Sonic Colors Ultimate will be speeding
How is it
up stores
ultimate? You haven't even shown us if there's new content.
Be sure to pre-order online today to receive it. And now,
Roger, Greg
let's
Smith.
hear from a very special guest.
Oh god.
Hey everybody, to celebrate the release of Sonic Colors Ultimate, we are so excited to announce Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps. Now, taking place in the world of Sonic Colors, this two-part animation is the first of some short-form animations coming your way that will feature full dialogue from the Sonic voice cast. In this, you follow Sonic and Tails to prevail.
Just what I need, more Sonic Colors cutscenes. Oh my god.
If used, this
Cringe time.
will see you guys soon with so much more good stuff.
Oh, that looks actually good. Unlike the actual Sonic Colors cutscenes.
We are also excited to announce we're working on a new compilation for next year that includes Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Sonic CD. Jump back in time and play these.
Not even
classic
anything
Sonic
extra or
games with
special,
Sonic
just the
Origins.
most obvious,
Experience the
boring
non-stop
games you
Sonic
can
action
pick.
like never before. This is your chance to experience later in the year.
Yawn.
This year, show your opponent's attacks in this invincible super form. Later this year, get ready to battle your friends in Sonic Dash. Look out for his arrival around Halloween and unleash your power. And lastly, in Sonic Racing on Apple Arcade, we're going classic. Race as a classic character, in a classic car, and on 3 new tracks in a classic zone. All while listening to
Green
some brand new
Hill
music.
Zone, yeah.
Nice. You can also revisit 30 years of Sonic games with the comprehensive 30th anniversary Encyclopedia from Dark Horse.
Awesome. Official social channels linked in the video description below.
We worked
Thank
hard
you
to
for
port a bunch of
celebrating
games that already
every
existed.
step
Yeah,
of the way.
right.
Here's to the next 30 years of Sonic.
Wait, hold on. I don't think we are done yet. I have one more thing.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Alright, Izuki-san.
Dun dun
Let's see it.
dun.
Here it comes. Here we go. Oh, there it is. The hidden footage. Looks very wispy. I don't like this. How this looks. Aliens? Huh. Wisps? I don't know. Okay, looks lame. Alright, that was it. And there we go! Wasn't it exciting? Anyway, those were my fresh thoughts at the moment. I've had some time to let it all sink in since, so my current thoughts, we'll discuss those later in our upcoming stream or something. Right, and we're back. So, you saw my first reactions. Now I guess it's time for the others. Look.
Yes.
Did you watch the announcement videos?
Yes, I mean, I thought it'd be a bit longer, but the announcements, they seem a bit okay. I mean, I think one that I totally expected was what looks like a realistic version of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games with someone in a Sonic costume. And I kind of, yeah, and I thought that, well, I thought it was a bit one-sided because you would think they would put a Mario costume in there as well, so you get like a hyper-realistic version of Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
That'd be funny.
Then you got the Sonic Colors announcement. I think, okay, so we're going to get it in HD, and I thought we might get a different control scheme rather than the Wiimote controls you got. But what I've also noticed, in this trailer, the colors, it doesn't look so vibrant. And also the colors seem a bit muted. It doesn't look as colourful as the Wii version when in some areas. So I hope they kind of fix that.
Yeah, I agree. Go on. Yeah, sorry.
And also you got the teaser at the very end, which has Sonic going through a forest with some ancient-looking murals, and it got me thinking if they're going to go back to like what they kind of had in the adventure era, 2000s era Sonic games, where which involves like ancient gods and civilizations and all that, and well, I suppose you have to see how it goes, really. But I try not to get my hopes up for this because you got to, if you know the Sonic cycle, where they show a teaser and everyone gets excited, then more and more information gets revealed, and you're thinking, oh, it doesn't look like a poser. But we'll see how it goes, really.
Might be the opposite this time because I was thoroughly unimpressed. And besides, Rise of Lyricus the last time we saw Ancient Ruins, so that's not a good start.
Maybe something like Eggman trying to control an ancient god or something. That's
sure, why not?
Like we did with Dark Gaia or Chaos.
It's clear they're very inspired by Zelda Breath of the Wild. But anyway, Captain, your thoughts?
Well, first off, I just wanted to say that my voice is finally recovered from screaming at the side of the werehog. I'm very excited to play as him in Sonic Dash and Sonic Forces, so that'll be fun. The 2 Point Hospital, I'm not the least bit interested in. The Olympic Games, it's funny, but I'm not interested. Sonic Colors Ultimate, I'm incredibly disappointed in, because out of any game that they would remaster, why that one? Why not one of the ones that people are actually asking for remakes of?
Well, Colors is very popular, especially with the non-Sonic fans, so... Like I always say, it's the ultimate 3D Sonic game for people who hate 3D Sonic games.
Also, it seems to be a trend now where they're porting HD versions of Wii games at the moment.
Sure.
It just seems like Iizuka has failed in figuring out what made Colors sell well, so now he's just selling Colors again.
But yeah, I have to admit, it's like a slap in the face. So I was hoping...
with that animated series, I'm thinking... Are they a bit... What year is it? Is it 2010? I mean, why did they come up with this 10 years ago?
That's a good point. But yeah, I was so hoping the Colors era to be over, and I was like, the Color era's still here. Like, darn.
But I would be lying if I said I wasn't going to buy it. I was hoping not to, but they've added enough stuff that I'm interested.
Alright, I have no interest at all. Anyway, it seems all the trailers are deliberately keeping a lot of information hidden because there are already rumors the collection is going to have more than just those 4 games, and Sonic Colors is probably going to have a playable tail, so there's probably more stuff coming. I guess Tails makes sense with Sonic Colors, with its level design being much more slow and blocky. Knuckles would make even more sense.
It would be interesting if Tails is playable. I hope he is. We'll find out.
We'll find out indeed. Still rumors at this point, so we shouldn't take it too seriously. Anyway, that's all we can say about the new games. I mean, there have been more information coming, but I guess there are leaks, so I'm not sure if we should talk about it.
We should maybe talk about those leaks. So, the new game is supposedly called Sonic Rangers, and it's an open-world game, just like you wanted, Roger, with heavy inspiration from Breath of the Wild, which would be very interesting. It does remind me a little bit of the Legend of Zelda Zone from Sonic Lost World, which was actually kind of fun. I did like that. So, maybe open world is the future of Sonic.
I hope so. But yeah, so far I hear the whole game takes place in a forest, so that's not that make me happy. I do hope there's some kind of civilization or city or something, because just the forest is kind of dull. But then again, the rumors we got is from playtesters from 2 years ago or so, so I assume a lot more has happened since. But we'll see, at least I'm happy we're moving away from the boost era. Because that was my first fear when I saw that trailer. Because you see the shot of Sonic running towards the camera, then it snaps to the side view. And I thought, oh no, don't tell me. It's going to be like a gimmick where you have to swap between 2D and 3D yourself. like it's Super Paper Mario or something.
Yeah, I've got a strange feeling they might bring back the avatar creation system, being as how popular it was in Sonic Forces, and that you could be your own Sonic Ranger or something.
That would be pretty good. I feel like the avatar customization from Sonic Forces is a great idea that was very poorly executed.
That's
It
true.
plays
Yeah.
up to like people's fantasies of creating their own Sonic OC and put them actually in the game.
Yeah, but it also was very limiting. There was only 7 species you could choose from, and each species had a unique ability, which I feel shouldn't have been tied to your character's species. You should have been able to pick those separately.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if they do bring it back, that's something they change.
It would be nice, and it would be a waste not to bring them back. In fact, I'm so disappointed they never brought it back for Team Sonic Racing. Like, the Avatar made perfect sense there as like a bonus driver, like the Mii character in Mario Kart. Missed opportunity, Sega, but oh well, that's Sonic Forces for you. Nothing but the missed opportunities. But yeah, I have some hope again. But Sega has a lot to prove to get my optimism back. Because Forces kind of really dulled my enthusiasm. That's why I'm kind of like not interested in hearing about theories, because I hear a lot of people making theories about the trailer already. Like they see Infinite's the Phantom Ruby's blocks and all that, or what's going on with the runes and all that. And
Yeah, or trying to decipher that glyph.
exactly, but I remember, with Team Sonic Racing, when we thought the Sonic R logo was there, and with Sonic Forces, when Shadow is the villain, why is he the villain? What's going on? Like, he set up all these mysteries, and then there's no payoff to them at all. So that's why in this game I'm also not really interested in thinking about it. I have just no faith in Sega. They're just gonna do the most like pedestrian basic thing as usual. So I refuse to take any deeper meaning of this trailer rather than just Sonic Run Through Forest, because that's how it went with Sonic Forces. Like, literally what we saw is all that you got. There was absolutely nothing deeper going on. Nothing under the hood. Sorry, Captain Theory.
Yeah.
I know you love your theories, and I'm sure you got a couple about the trailer. But
Well, I did before the leaks came out, so...
oh well. Then again,
Sonic's model in this looks very adventure-y, and that did give me hope that this was going to be the proper Sonic Adventure 3, but it's seeming like that's not the case. But even so, the model is very adventure-y, and we'll see if that is relevant at all.
Probably fan service, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll let it be for now. But yeah, those were the previews we got. I'm sure in a month we'll get more information on Sonic's actual anniversary day. So then they'll probably reveal extra information. It was probably the bare minimum they had to tell about it. But yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. So I guess we move on to Sonic X.
You do, yeah.
All right, then let's jump to a little skit I made for episode 4.
Any word on the animals?
We're dispatching an undercover agent to get information on the boy.
Chris, what's your favorite animal?
Hedgehog?
Aha! Gotcha! Come in, HQ. The boy likes hedgehogs. I repeat.
What the heck is that supposed to prove, Chalkboard Charlie? Stop messing around. Over.
Chris! What color shoes you wear? Chris! Do you prefer fast? Chris! Wait! The boy said he preferred white gloves! Prove he's harboring an alien!
Alright, and we're back. So, episode 4. Luke, tell us about it. What happened in it?
Okay, first off, it starts off with yammering on about the Chaos Emeralds, which makes Chuck fall asleep. They apparently found an emerald in a construction yard, which was poorly guarded. So Eggman goes and gets it with the help of this bird thing that looks like something out of Transformers. Chris runs off because he's being chased by this creepy-looking teacher, and so Eggman finds it. Then he gets outsmarted by Chris. So he just like flies off in his Eggmobile. Then he drops the kid. But then he gets captured by he gets rescued by Sonic with the emerald.
Did he outsmart Eggman? That scene was so weird to me. Like, Eggman is already right in front of the emerald, and then Chris just grabs it, and he doesn't even react to Eggman. Not even like he didn't know.
He was talking to it. He doesn't know that Eggman was right there.
And he just stands there like, dude, you have the evil terrorist right behind you. You either run or fight, but he just stands there with no reaction, just like, yeah.
Also, right, the president and the government apparently know about Eggman's base, and I was thinking, like, why doesn't he just nuke it? Just nuke the thing. Just nuke his base, and he's got a shield on or something.
Because humans are really, really dumb in the show, and I love it. So we got Mr. Stewart, the teacher, Alex's favorite character, and he's wonderful. And how weird and pathetic he is. I mean, so he goes around that with Chris, and then, hey, do you like, what animals do you like? Hedgehogs. Like, okay, what does that prove? I mean, you already know.
Yeah, I do want to be the creepy teacher.
You already know that Sonic is at his house, so what are you even trying to get? You just make yourself look creepy for no reason. I love it. Yes, Captain?
One funny detail in the episode is when Chris is falling to his death, and Mr. Stewart like transforms his car's backseat into a like stuntman giant pillow thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll save him, and then Sonic just runs right past Mr. Stewart and catches Chris, which means Mr. Stewart wasn't even close to catching Chris, because Sonic was way ahead of him when Chris hit the ground.
Yep.
So,
and besides, shouldn't Chris still have died when he just smashes into Sonic? Because he didn't really do anything to stop his fall, did he?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
how falling should work.
Yeah, because he was like, I will catch this child.
I love this stuff. But yeah, so kind of funny. All the boring stuff, the stuff that would bore me as a kid, is now the more interesting stuff to me. Like them talking about the Gale's Emeralds, even though we still didn't really learn anything about it. That's kind of weird between the Japanese and the English version. Like in the Japanese version, it's mostly Tails explaining everything and Chuck just asking questions. But in the American version, they actually had Chuck himself do the explanation, which is kind of weird. Like, how do you know anything about the Gale's Emeralds? It's from a different planet. And yeah, he even says, sorry, yeah.
No, go ahead.
He Chuck even says like, oh, you collect all the 7 Gale's Emeralds together, they shatter. It's like, and then Sonic disagrees. So how does he know that? And like he acts like he knows more than the others. It's really weird to me and funny. But
I didn't get that impression from watching the English version. I felt like he was just saying how improbable it was that they'd be able to gather all 7, which seemed likely with the fact that like these characters were sent to, you know, the universe and time. So it was pretty good bet that like maybe not all 7 Chaos Emeralds showed up on Earth, even though they did. So
yeah, everything went to the same
place. Not the Dragon Balls.
It seemed to me more like Chuck was just making observations.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, it kind of bothers me that they keep doing this thing that Gale's Emeralds like make your wishes come true, because they never do anything creative with the Gale's Emeralds at all. They always use it as a battery, as power. So I don't know why they even bother with the whole wishes thing.
I do find it weird how in Sonic X the Chaos Emeralds are very small.
Yeah.
Like Eggman has very large hands.
Well, yes, Eggman does have really large hands, but like when he's holding the Chaos Emerald, it looks absolutely tiny. Whereas in the games, they are about the size of Eggman's hands.
That's true.
Then again, I guess the Chaos Emeralds do change sizes quite a bit, especially in the first Sonic Riders, where they were absolutely massive.
I guess they're Chaos Emeralds, so they can do it, be as chaotic as they want. Anyway, what also bothered me is about the whole power ring thing, because, again, they never really explain that, how it works, and now in this episode we see Amy, like, pull out two in a row, so now I'm really confused. Like, what is the limitation of these things? Can you just pull out 1,000,000 and just keep throwing them? Like, if you have so many of them, why just don't you use them all the time?
Oh, but when Sonic leaves somewhere, why does he take one with him, just in case?
Yeah, exactly, if they're so important, because, again, in Sonic's ATM, we know only one ring spawns every 12 hours or so we know they can only use it very sparingly. And in the movie, we know he only has a limited amount in his bag, so we should be careful with them. But in this series, there doesn't seem to be any limitation at all, so, I mean, why not constantly? Yeah?
I think the implication was after the first one was dropped, Amy and Tails went down to get it, which makes no sense. And they did not show that at all, so... Yeah, it does come across as they just had one as a backup.
Oh well, guess I have to make a parody cartoon later where Amy just throws 100 of those rings and keeps missing, and in the meanwhile, all the people on the street find all of them, and all the people are hyper. Just begging for silly parodies like that. But yeah, anyone else has any thoughts on episode 4?
Maybe the reason that Sonic doesn't carry them is because the rings react to him like they do.
What do you mean?
Well, like, whenever he holds one, he gets, like, supercharged and absorbs it, so maybe he can't hold them.
Oh, right, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's move to episode 5, for which I yet again have a skit, so just a moment.
An unusual gemstone was discovered today at a department store construction site.
It looks like they found a Chaos Emerald!
Later! The next day!
Investigators are looking into...
I bet it's a Chaos Emerald! We're going to Silver Valley, and we'll have a picnic there. This picnic was a super idea, Amy!
I find it so funny that in the first episode they know about the Gale's Emeralds and it's like immediate pandemonium with chases and Eggman sending in jets and all that. And in this episode they find the second emerald and they have no reaction at all. Just, let's go picnic! Let's not take the tornado plane, let's just take the train. So when Eggman shows up we have absolutely nothing to navigate with or fight with. I was like, okay, you suddenly don't take this seriously at all. Anyway, Luke, tell us about it. What was episode 5 about?
Well, it's basically one of my favourite episodes because it's the typical. We actually get a scene of Knuckles and Sonic fighting each other because Knuckles got tricked by Eggman and Chris, Tails, and Amy go on a picnic and they mostly spend an episode in this giant egg mech thing. But you know when it happens, like Knuckles and Sonic both have their differences and they bash the robot. But also it's got some pretty funny moments in there as well.
It's very interesting. How often do we actually get to see Knuckles being tricked actively? Usually we only hear about it afterwards. Well, I guess the Sonic Adventure we also saw the trickery actually going on. But,
I believe it's only actually happened 3 times in canon.
Well, I don't know. It's not about how often it happens, but how often we actually see it happen on screen. Usually we just hear about it later. But this...
In that case, only Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, and now we see it in this episode. It's kind of fun to actually see Dr. Eggman be all slimy and pretend to be nice. It was a fun moment. This is also the first American Sonic X where the pre-credit sequence actually made sense as a cold opening. Usually it's kind of a random scene. Oh, Sonic suddenly feels like running, and that's then your big opening sequence. Like, okay. At least now it actually has like a proper setup for the episode. But yeah, it was indeed a fun episode, and I love Tails and Amy acting to be puppets, and then kicking the little girl on the train. That
was a brilliant bit. And also the bit where Boken puts a telly on Sonic's foot and explodes in his face.
Yeah, that's right. This is our big introduction to Eggman's robots, and they feel so weird because they never get a proper introduction. They're just kind of there. Like, I remember in the previous Dissected when we talked about Orbot and Cubot versus Crash and Grounder. Like, I had absolutely nothing to say about the Sonic X robots. They made no impression, and now I was deliberately paying attention to that. Like, do they get a proper introduction, or do they have a specific personality? But no, they just show up and they don't do anything interesting, except the bomb guy, I guess. But yeah, pretty awesome. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
So this episode actually, the English dub actually hammered in something that I forgot to mention around episode 1. There's the line where Eggman's base is exploding. In the English dub, Knuckles says, "It used to be Chaos Control."
Oh, right, yeah.
So in this episode, it's revealed over and over and over again that 4 kids thought Chaos Control was the name of Eggman's base.
Yep.
And it's so awkward because Eggman just keeps saying Chaos Control over and over and over again, and it's kind of cringy, honestly.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward indeed. But I remember the previous episodes didn't get it wrong, or maybe they just were lucky that Chaos Control happened and worked in both contexts. But yeah, this one it was very clear they got it wrong. Oh well, that's nice and confusing. Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see Knuckles actually being like impressively strong. I mean, that was always what bothered me by Sonic Boom. Like, you make him look very muscular, and then he still doesn't do anything impressive. Even though it's supposed to be comedy, you think he can play up the comedy with him being super strong. But this one, he actually like punches trees and destroys half the forest. So it's pretty impressive.
Since you've got the image on screen, I do want to talk about my favorite part of the episode was Tails and Amy acting like plush dolls. It's hilarious and adorable. I love it.
It's also kind of... Sorry, yeah.
And like Amy sitting there thinking, "Oh God, I wish I could blink."
Poor girl. It's kind of funny the difference between the Japanese and American version. The Japanese version, everyone on the train is, "Oh, so cute! Oh, I want to one too." Well, in the American version, they're a lot more judgmental. "What's that boy doing with dolls?" So it's kind of funny, the difference in culture. But yeah, that was a pretty awesome scene, and looks great. And it's fun usage.
Also, I think Eggman dropped the ball in that episode because he put the robot on the other side of the lake, and he says, "Oh, you won't be able to get that now." But Sonic just goes around the edge of the lake like he didn't think of that.
Yep.
And that was the moment where Eggman says "shit" in the Japanese version. And since obviously 4Kids isn't going to allow that, he just calls Sonic a show-off. which is like, what did he think was going to happen in that situation?
Yeah, despite all his IQ. Oh well, in the middle of the action and chaos, you tend to make dumb decisions. And even if Sonic couldn't run past it, Knuckles could have thrown him over the lake or something. But well,
or Sonic could have ran on top of the water.
At least I like the timing of it. Like, even right the moment you think, "Wait a minute, can he just run past it?" It like immediately happens. So that was nice. Usually you're kind of screaming at the characters, like, "Come on, make this smarter." But now they were quick enough, so it was actually funny. If they dragged it out too long, it would have been very annoying. Yeah.
Yes, and also we kind of got a brief Son Amy moment at the very end where Amy hugs Sonic and like she was all crying and like just like.
Yeah, and famous, Sonic comforts her. Yeah, he wasn't like pushing her away, which was very nice. I have always enjoyed a good Sonami moment.
Yeah, it's a very famous moment. I see the screenshot. I remember seeing the screenshot all over the place. I really love that. Yeah, it's a very nice episode. Good usage of the characters. The only episode we watched of the 3 that actually focused on Sonic and friends more than the humans. Because especially the next episode is going to be very human-orientated. So, yeah, pretty good. And, of course, who watches The Great Clement knows his episode very well because he keeps using that clip of Knuckles going, "Shut up!" Oh, well, memes. So, want to move on to the next episode, to the last one for today?
Let's do it.
All right, starting with a skit, as usual.
One of my robots could brainwash the school kiddies so that they'd love me and honor me and look up to me as a hero.
Here are your choices.
I'd let the machine decide. Perfect!
Dr. Eggman is so cool!
So Dr. Eggman has a plan where he wants to take over a school, and he actually has a specific teacher robot, and yet he still can't make the decision and lets the random chooser machine do it for him.
That is exactly what I was going to talk about. Is the fact that he had this robot explicitly for this purpose, and the slot machine just like pitied him and is like, dude.
It would be
the teacher
it would be so funny if he grabbed a robot that's completely inappropriate, like a big battleship or something that doesn't even fit in the classroom. Oh, that was so funny. Oh man, this is typically the episode. When I watched this back then in 2003, I would hate it because it's so focused on the humans and not on the characters. And now I absolutely love it. This is my stuff. So, Captain, why didn't you explain what happened this episode this time?
Okay, so Dr. Eggman decides that the best way to take over the planet now is to basically propagandize the children into loving him somehow. So he randomly selects the one robot that's good for this job and sends it to the school to take over for teaching. And it does a spectacular job because these kids were learning math way above their grade level. Like they were doing trigonometry and shit. It's weird.
That was random, yeah.
But the plan kind of backfires when the robot grows too attached to the children and loves the fact that they love him more than his mission. So yeah, he's just a good teacher, and it's great. I would have loved to have kept seeing him. He's great. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom, where he's just a really good teacher despite what his actual objective is.
That's true. Yeah, it's kind of sad how anime usually has like zero mercy for its mooks. Like you think they give him some sort of redemption arc or something, but no, he just gets killed by the end. It's kind of sad. I saw a lot of comments in the YouTube video also just complain about that. Like, we liked him, poor guy. And Sonic
So at the end of the episode, Eggman decides to take matters into his own hands and just hold the kids hostage and put them in detention until they love him, which is the stupidest plan I have ever heard. Because if there's one thing kids love, it's being in detention. And definitely the people who put them there.
Didn't you see those awesome stickers he sent out? If you get a sticker of the Happy Eggman, you will love him, right?
And I do want to talk about that because I feel like that's a great, stupid Eggman moment. It's something he would do. He's just like, hey, you get the sticker of me.
I love it.
You're welcome. And, like, no one's appreciative of it, so he just puts it on himself, which is incredibly narcissistic and right up his alley. I love it.
He should have done what Aku did in that one episode of Samurai Jack, where he tries to propagandize the children by telling them stories about himself, which didn't actually work.
Yeah, that would be great. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff I wish Sonic Boom did, because it is typical that kind of thing, like combine Sonic with something mundane, but then make it awesome. But again, here they put the mundane and then make it over the top fun. Well, Boom always did the opposite. It's like take Sonic and then just make Sonic mundane.
I think they tried to do that in one of the comics where Eggman tries to get people to love him, but he's not doing a good job of it, so he tries to build a theme park. He actually tries to build a theme park, and he tries to get the Sonic and his friends to run the rides, but it all backfires and the whole theme park crashes down.
Yeah. But yeah, oh man, this episode, I love it. This is my stuff. Although it is kind of weird sometimes, there's a lot of like cultural differences again with this episode is kind of interesting to watch the difference between the Japanese and the English version. The English version tried to explain or ground things a lot more, while the Japanese versions are completely random. For example, when Stuart, the original teacher, gets thrown out, at least the English version kind of acknowledges how weird that is. Like, hey, did the headmaster replace me, or I'm going to act what's going on? Like in the Japanese version, that thought never even crosses his mind. He's just angry and just complains at the headmaster, but nobody ever questions the fact a random robot takes over. It's it's really weird. Or the children, how they act is also weird. Like at the start you see Stewart, their original teacher, sleeping while he's teaching them. In the Japanese version that isn't even acknowledged. The kids never really say anything or think about it. They just are worried they don't understand the lesson. So I think it has to do with Japanese culture where you're never supposed to question your authority. Like even office workers often like kind of completely get stuck in their jobs because they're too scared asking their supervisor to take a look if they don't understand something. But yeah, in the English version, they actually do acknowledge that more and even make jokes about it. Like, don't wake him up or he's going to put us to sleep, which I kind of like. It. On one hand, you're kind of explaining the joke, but on the other hand, they add a joke on top of it, and it kind of grounds it. So in that case, I like it. It's a short moment.
One thing I feel like should be mentioned, kind of an elephant in the room, is the police officer in this episode, who is the most American police officer ever because he is completely unhelpful when there's an actual crime going on, but the moment he's inconvenienced, he retaliates violently.
It was a bit like an anime Officer Barbrady.
He's exactly like that. I was gonna call him Chief Wiggum, but yeah, Barbrady also works. Yeah. It's so awesome because Eggman is genuinely considered a terrorist, so much that the president even sent agents to keep his base under surveillance. And now one of his robots kidnaps a bunch of children, including Chris, who is super rich and has like super rich parents, so you think he's a very important hostage. And yet the cop they send is just some guy eating a hamburger, not giving a darn. He's like, oh, well, kids got kidnapped, oh, whatever. It's so awesome how completely incompetent and worthless the humans are. I guess the problem with this episode is there's not really a protagonist for most of the episode. Because Sonic is barely in it, and Chris is mostly held hostage and doesn't really do anything. So technically, Mr. Stewart would be the hero of the episode, except he's completely treated as a joke. Even though he's completely in the right, he's the only one who's trying to fight against Eggman, and yet he just gets no respect for it at all. So it's a very dark humor, this episode. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't feel like the fact that Chris is being held hostage makes him less of the protagonist. He is definitely the main character of this episode, along with his friends, but they just don't do much. I would say the spotlight mostly is on Intelligente, the robot.
That's true. Good point. But yeah, one thing that really bothered me in the Japanese version is how robotic the school children are. Because, I mean, the moment with Eggman with his sticker, right? That was already like a weird moment. Like, it's a funny gag, but then they give it a strangely very serious ending where, like, Eggman's like, hey, he wants this sticker of me with my big smile, and then you get a close-up of all the kids. Like, and especially in the Japanese version, it's like this very weird robotic moment. Like, no, Eggman, I reject your sticker. And then it closes up for the second child. Yes, me too. I also reject your sticker, Eggman. And it goes to a third close-up. Yes, Eggman, I also don't pick your sticker. Like, it's just supposed to be like a very dramatic moment. And it felt very weird to me. It's like, it's just a quick gag. You should have just had a kid say, no! Or have one kid just say, yeah, I'll take it, and just put it on the bathroom or something, like an embarrassing spot. Like, it's a funny gag, but they treat it as something super serious, and it's such a weird moment for me. Like, Japanese have a weird sense of humor sometimes. Or it's just culture. Anyway, anyone else wants something to say about this episode?
Not really.
I think that's about it.
It's I love it. I hated it as a kid, but now I absolutely love this episode. This is great. Well, I guess now we're going to move on to the comics. I wanted to have about 3 skits for it. I only finished 1, roughly, so I'll finish it later this week. I owe you one later, but yeah, I'll show you what I got so far. So, IDW, my skit for so far.
Your powers are mine. Please leave me alone. You scare me.
Yeah, sadly that was it. So, poor IDW didn't get a skit last time and barely gets anything this time. I'll make up for you later this week. But yes, IDW. So I guess our guest Melting Man will return because he loves talking about this. Hi there. So we're going to talk about issue 8. up until 12, although you said you wanted to say something about issue 6, so I guess I'll give you a little bonus round.
Actually, I was thinking of a different issue. Like, the stuff I wanted to say a lot actually was issue 8. So yeah, I definitely have a lot to say about issue 8 and not 6 or whatever it was I said.
Fair enough, fair enough. Look, you want to... yeah, this episode is our introduction to Whisper. I don't think we should give a synopsis because barely anything happens in it. Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say about issue 8, our introduction to Whisper the Wolf?
Yeah, issue 8 being the introduction to Whisper. Like, yeah, I like the character. It's a interesting take with how this is a character that literally whispers all of her lines, and basically a character that befriends all the Wisps. Because I don't think there ever really was, well, aside from like Sonic and... yeah, there haven't really been any characters that actually befriend the Wisp. I think it's just Sonic, and I don't think Tails had any interactions with the character. So it's kind of interesting how she treats the Wisps as like her children, or just kind of closest friends that she has.
It definitely plays up to cute factor, yeah, and I'm sure it's just very recognizable for a lot of Sonic fans because a lot of them are shy and kind of reserved and introvert, so she's really tailor-made for a lot of fans, I guess, which makes her very popular.
And of course, we also have Silver showing up in this story. Yeah, it seemed like this time they decided to kind of have Silver's personality be more like a dork. I don't know how often it was done in the games. I think Team Sonic Racing was the first time they did that. So in the comics with IDW, they kind of portray him more as a dork. Yeah. Honestly, it kind of took me a while to just warm up to it, but I eventually got into it. It's like, hey, it kind of helps to make him more different than how Sonic and Shadow act.
I think he was a little bit of a dork in Sonic 06, but yeah, he was mostly on a mission, so you didn't see much of it. But he had his moments where it's like, oh, the present looks so nice and all that, so he kind of does drop the act every now and then. I kind of like it. Silver really works as more naive and cute. Especially because like, that was the reason why a lot of people hated the character, because he was too much like Shadow. At least that's what a lot of people thought. So it's nice to really make him Yeah?
Oh yeah, so aside from Silver and Whisper, the one I really mostly wanted to talk about the most was the robot that they fight at EU-107 Theta, because there definitely is some a bit of interesting history behind the name in particular.
And it is?
Yeah, and that's well, it actually originated from the Archie Sonic comics. Specifically, it was first labeled, or at least name-dropped, in the Light Mobius universe. You know, the comics they did, like, 25/30 years later, taking place in the future. So in that universe, they talk about how E-107 Theta is this, like, deadly robot that was sealed away in the catacombs. So we never saw, like, a physical appearance of the character in that universe, or the main Archie Sonic universe. But of course, since that was, the whole Light Mobius thing was more of a Ken Penders thing, then, yeah, the whole E-107 Theta was kind of one of those, things that was left, you know, those things like, no, you can't use any of this, even though we never show the damn thing. So that was pretty much a tight rule with the Archie Sonic comics. Even when in the new continuity we saw other E-series robots with different names, they couldn't call or at least feature anything with the E-107 Theta bid. They did do it with E-106 Eta, but that was more of an accident when they first name dropped it. It's like, oh no, that's not it. It's E-106 Eta. Yeah, this weird steampunk version of Omega. So now here comes IDW Sonic with this robot. It's like, oh, now we'll call it E-107 Theta, yeah. Granted, the robot itself isn't anything special because it's just a recolor of E-105 Zeta from Sonic Adventure. But I like to imagine that Ian Flynn threw that name in just as a big middle finger to Ken Penders.
Fair enough. Luke, do you have any thoughts on Whisper? Oh, sorry. Did I wake you up?
Yeah, she's alright. She's a pretty cute character. You know, I mean, I like, you know, how she's good friends with her Wisp things.
Wisps thing. Why do you only now realize that maybe her name also refers to her relation with Wisps?
Oh, great now.
I didn't even realize that. Puns.
She's a Wisp whisperer.
A Wisp whisperer. Ooh, there's a nice one.
A whisperer.
A Wisp whisperer. There we go. Okay, that was that issue. Then the next issue, everyone is kind of hanging out in the airship going to the final battle. I love this. I love moments like this. First of all, this is the first issue that isn't just about them beating up a bunch of badniks, which thoroughly bored me at this point. So it's nice to just get a lot of character moments. Especially since before this, like every single issue that reintroduced one of the friends. Just like the first time they all get together really for a length of time. It's just kind of fun to look at it. Also, I love the art style. I didn't really mention it last time. I usually really focus on the story, but I have to say that just watching the art is really awesome.
Yeah, issue 9, yeah.
Issue
I
9.
like that one. There's a lot more strategizing. One of my favorite bits is definitely the poker scene with Silver and Tangle and the Chaotix. Or at least I assume that's poker, even though if you look at the cards, you can see there's nothing printed on it.
Well, I guess... yeah, sorry. Captain, go ahead.
This is the issue with the famous mistake of in the first panel, Silver's hands are backwards, which was fixed in later reprints.
Oh yeah, I have the issue right now. It's like, yep, his hands are messed up in that first appearance.
Yeah,
his thumb's all wrong.
Yep.
Oh well, happens to me all the time too. I'm a terrible artist as well. Oh, well.
Hands are hard to draw.
That they
are. So this issue also reintroduces Shadow, and the less we talk about that, the better.
Oh my goodness, we'll talk about Shadow later.
Yeah, we already had the reintroduction of Shadow, but yeah, let's save that for another time.
Okay, so the chapter after that is my favorite chapter, the one I want to focus a joke on, because it's so funny to meet Blaze. So, up to this point, every single issue is them fighting Batniks, and the Batniks never put up a fight at all. They're always just complete cannon fodder, and everyone just bowls them over with no effort at all. And on this episode, Blaze is all, I need to turn into Super Blaze and use his super attack to destroy all these Batniks. And I was just laughing. It just reminded me of my old animation of Sonic Adventure in Minutes, where you just have an army of Knuckles just beating down Chow, who can't fight back, and it still yell about needing backup. It's so much of an overkill. Like, none of the enemies ever put up a fight other than Metal Sonic. So I just found this whole thing just overkill, and I find it hilarious.
Yeah, well, then again, it's not so often we get to see Blaze in action.
That's true.
Let alone seeing Burning Blaze in action.
Well, to be fair, the frames you have on screen right now are directly leading up to her obliterating an entire egg fleet at once.
That is impressive, yes. Luke, did you have to say something to say about this?
I was thinking, I do like the episode, like how it's like something out of a superhero movie with all of them coming together to take down all these robots. And this definitely put Blaze in the limelight, obliterating all these things. And you got Sonic and Knuckles trying to take down Neo Metal Sonic, who does put up a bit of a fight.
That's true, yes. The only one actually puts up a fight. Of course, when we get to the Zombot saga after this, then the enemy's going to be a little more serious. But yeah, in this early saga, like, all the main characters are super overpowered except for Metal Sonic. Which
it's actually interesting that they have they actually had the courage to depict Sonic getting his ass kicked by Neo Metal Sonic. I'm pretty sure that's against one of Sega's mandates, so props to them.
Yeah, well, of course, it was also surprising that instead of Neo Metal Sonic, it's actually Super Neo Metal Sonic that's getting his ass kicked.
And I did like Neo Metal Sonic straight up quoting What I'm Made Of from Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, I love that joke, yeah. Adding, that happens a lot. Like, Eggman also, like Mr. Tinkerer sung the Eggman song at one moment. Except he was cut off right the moment he would say the Eggman name. They really love that gag, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, yeah, this is when Tinker also gets, like, kidnapped from Rough and Tumble. Now, one interesting thing I noticed is the bit with him singing that little tune. I noticed one of the kids in the motor buggy teacup spinning things. It's like, oh, it's a female yellow rabbit. Huh, possible reference to Bunny Rabbit, perhaps?
It did look like Bunny, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the artist puts a lot of cameos in there. Didn't she put one of her own characters in there? Because I think she used to have a webcomic or something. Or I'm not entirely sure.
Evan Stanley, probably. Yeah, there are a few instances where writers or artists, OCs or fan characters make cameos in the background.
Always fun. Why not?
Another tiny detail about this issue is Sonic and Knuckles actually get on their extreme gear from Sonic Riders.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess those are canon now. Wow.
It's especially weird because, like, Sonic's is the Blue Star 1 from Sonic Riders, and Knuckles' is the Red Rock from Sonic Free Riders, so weird that they've got conflicting designs, but whatever. It's nice to see them.
Yeah.
For the 2 panels that they're there.
Yeah, I think, didn't Ian Flynn say something like that? He just randomly made references to all the Sonic games just to check what would upset Sega and what wouldn't. I think I
Yeah,
remember.
that's what I heard from most people. It's like the reason why there's so many references to Sonic games and whatnot is mostly just to check how much he could get away with. Which in some ways, that's actually something I would do personally if I was the writer or artist on there. I would just mostly have more fun just throwing in random cameos of like more obscure elements from the Sonic games, like the Game Gear titles or the Shogakukan Sonic mangas, like have Little John on a missing poster, or making a big reference to Amy's American Page 1, because that's just become more of a running gag with me.
It's kind of sad as a comic book writer. That's the only way how you can discover what the rules are, because they can't even make up their mind. So you kind of have to work blind. Oh well. But yeah, the final battle with Metal Sonic was pretty impressive. It's awesome to actually see all the characters working together. But yeah, the only problem I have with it is Shadow, because he already screws up or makes everything complicated by ruining the plan, but then he never even gets a redemption moment. He's just kind of there and not being particularly useful. And then he still give him like a cool action hero exit by the end, which he didn't earn at all. I really hope Shadow gets redeemed eventually, because boy, do they ruin him here. He's just an asshole.
I think he's beyond saving at this point.
Well, I have a theory about that, but we'll leave that for later. Whisper actually gets a really badass moment in this issue where she throws out several crystals and then uses her laser Wispon to reflect off of them and take out several Eggman pawns at once.
That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Good use of the colors powers. Luke, you have anything to say about the final battle?
Issue 10?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I really like the beginning where Super Metal Sonic just trounces Sonic and Knuckles like he's Omni-Man. And then you got Blaze blowing up everything. But, yeah, I think it's pretty good.
There we go, then.
Yeah. So, like, what next? Issue 11, that's like the big epic climax for that.
It sure is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how Super Neo Metal Sonic take on the form of Metal Overlord, again from Sonic Heroes, which is kind of interesting because I remember in an old interview from back when Archie Sonic used to be a thing, he stated that the Metal Overlord was one of his least favorite Sonic characters. It was something like, oh, I don't like that weird Godzilla wannabe monster thingy. I guess that would kind of explain why we never saw that version of Metal in the Archie Sonic universe. And why he shows up here is mostly just, to test the waters with how much he can get away with.
It's such a weird character, too. Very organic for a robot. It's almost like a horror movie character. Like he suddenly gets his mouth and tongue. Yeah, go ahead.
It's because he's intentionally copying Perfect Chaos.
Ah, smart.
Yeah, because him copying Chaos's data. Yeah.
It kind of had a bit of a hero feel to it as well.
That's why he kidnapped Froggy and Chocola. Because they are the living beings with the closest relation to Chaos.
Yeah. Another interesting detail I found with the final battle is one of Rouge's attacks where she plants a bunch of those bombs on Metal Overlord. I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, those bombs from like Sonic Generations from that one minigame, I think.
Yeah, it's actually the same. It's a little different than how they look, but it's the exact same design.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got our big introduction to Dr. Starland in this same climax issue.
That's right, our new creepy lackey for Dr. Eggman.
A platypus? Dr. Starline the platypus?
Yeah, you already want to be his voice actor if I ever make a cartoon about him.
Yeah, Dr. Starland's. It's kind of interesting.
Dr. Starline's a guy?
Yeah, he's a guy.
Oh, I did not know that. I just assumed Dr. Starline was a girl.
Because of the haircut. I kind of thought he was a bit influenced by
the hair. There was the haircut and the pink and purple clothes and the pointy high-heeled boots. But
I mostly think it's usually the eyelashes that really screw people over and thinking that it's a girl.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe he's a femboy. I don't know.
Just a whole lot of details that made me think Dr. Starline was a girl, but I guess that was never revealed, so I just assumed.
There is something I could tell. When I was a kid, when I first saw Knuckles, I assumed he was female because of the long dreads and how in some versions he had a bit of a light reddish pinkish tint tone.
Yeah, that was a well-known problem a lot of people had. Poor Knuckles. But yeah, Starline, I guess he's just a really stylish dude. But yeah, he's fun. equally evil and creepy and a little effeminate, and I like him.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all the original characters, like I said before, the most interesting because you can do the most, or the more flexible of all the characters. So I'm looking forward to where he's going.
Yeah.
Oh, and they did a brilliant panel where Knuckles tries to shove the Master Emerald, and it pops out of Metal Overlord, and he has the most goofiest face.
I was
Oh, yeah,
literally just about to talk about that. Do you have that picture, Roger? Because if you don't, you
was like,
go
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Yes,
that is the best frame in the entire issue. It's wonderful.
Kind of
I also like the next one that he does when he's flying the Emerald back to the Angel Island. He just has this big, goofy grin on his face.
He looks so smug.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Metal Overlord goes,
And, well, at least that's the nice thing about the comics, is that they at least treat Knuckles the Echidna with some respect.
Emphasis on some.
Well, it's a hell of a lot better than what the games handle him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
and then
move on to the next issue.
I guess so, unless yeah. So the last one is an epilogue.
Yeah, an epilogue to the whole Metal Sonic bit.
So,
Which I like. The games never really get an epilogue. It's kind of fun to see what happens to the robots and the base, and have them say goodbye. Yeah, go ahead.
So this issue starts off with a very interesting moment of Tails fixing Metal Sonic to a degree, and then Sonic trying to reason with him, which is very interesting because, like, you wouldn't expect Sonic to do that for Metal Sonic.
Yeah, I thought it would be better than how it was done in Sonic Heroes, where they just have Metal Sonic lying there, and Sonic's like, "Oh, that was fun. I'll race you another time," and it just runs off.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, why can't I defeat you? Because we're Sonic heroes, so piss off. Whee! Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem here, which I find kind of funny, because obviously they didn't know, but like Sonic thinks this is an okay thing to do because it's not like Dr. Eggman is gonna fix Metal Sonic, and of course he has no idea of what's about to happen, because ironically enough, it is Metal Sonic himself that regains Eggman's memory.
Irony, irony, irony. Yes.
Yep, the irony.
It's especially because like I love the frame of the flashback where where Eggman is fixing Metal Sonic, and they're having like a bonding moment. It's kind of cute in a way.
Oh yeah, that whole, did you at least punch him in the face? And he gives him a thumbs up, and he's like, got it, boy!
Yeah.
I love that.
I like how Mr. Tinker acknowledges the fact that it's cruel for Eggman to have programmed his robots with personalities and then been an asshole to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Kind of ironic, because Orbot and Cubot are kind of the only robots that actually have some form of a personality.
And Metal Sonic in this case.
Yeah.
I would say Omega and Gamma also do.
That's true. That's true.
It seems like in Gamma's case, though, Gamma having a personality was a glitch. Omega's seems a little more intentional, though.
Yeah, being abandoned by Robotnik and all, so I can see why he's pretty bitter about it.
I always assumed with Gamma that was just a bird overriding the robot programming or something. That's my...
That's very possible.
But you said you had a theory about Shadow or something? Because I guess we can talk about it now.
It's not I have a theory about Shadow, I have a theory of how they could fix Shadow. And that is simply by saying that the Shadow we've seen since Generations has been one of Eggman's rogue androids.
Ah, I hope so.
Shadow androids.
That would be nice, yes.
Like the real Shadow shows up, beats the shit out of the android, and then goes and has a beer with Rouge.
Would be cool if the real Shadow is still missing from the prologue of Sonic Forces. That he's still stuck in that Green Hill Zone virtual reality world or something. That'd be a cool twist.
Yeah.
Or maybe he accidentally got himself locked up in one of those capsules where all the Shadow androids are kept.
The worst hell, being trapped in Green Hill Zone forever.
Or that he was actually dead from Sonic Adventure 2, and the shadows we always saw was like some shadow android or something.
I'm sure there's a lot of fans who will love that theory.
Yeah.
Like something out of the Clone Saga.
I don't, because the Shadow from 06 was definitely the real Shadow.
He had a very nice character arc, yeah, from Adventure 2 to Shadow to 06.
I still have yet to play Sonic 06, but I did buy the
Blasphemy!
version. I did buy the PS3 version it was quite a while ago, but it's mostly because of how bored and fed up I am with the meta era. It's like, yep, screw it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna experience this damn game, and no one's gonna stop me.
Sonic 06 is gonna shock you. It actually contains 3D platforming. I haven't seen that in a long time. It's like
A load of bugs and glitches.
Yeah.
And long loading times.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to issue 12. One weird thing I find about this particular issue is that after Robotnik gains his memory and goes into that wardrobe to change outfits, and he says, "Oh, you better not disappoint me, rough and tumble. The last group I hired didn't last long against Sonic and Shadow." Assumingly, he's talking about the Jackal Squad. It's like, well, okay, Shadow apparently killed all the Jackal Squad members and whatnot. But with Sonic, when the hell did that happen? I don't remember Sonic battling the Jackal Squad outside of Infinite.
Oh, did he actually refer that Sonic stumped him? Oh, it kind of bothers me they never showed the fate of those characters. It's kind of awkward to just have deaths off screen like that.
Yeah. Well, then again, in the prequel comic for Infinite's gang, they only showed up in 2 panels. So yeah.
This issue also features yet another beautiful sodomy moment where they're discussing inventory on the ship and the disbanding of the Resistance, which was again a little premature, but they didn't know any better. So, but yeah, it was nice seeing Sonic and Amy hanging out and Sonic not being a jerk to her.
It was especially nice to see Sonic almost visit everyone one by one. It was kind of nice. You never see that. So I like that sequence. Yeah.
And then of course the Chaotix asking for their money, which is
of course.
Hilarious. I love Charmy's excitement over getting paid. It's wonderful. I think the Chaotix are great characters that they don't use enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, of course, my favorite bit is where Rouge just steals one of Eggman's seats and just lies on it for a while.
Also nice detail.
And she confirms that Eggman apparently works out.
Of course, he has to run as fast as Sonic, so he has to
Yeah,
get
like
that exercise.
When you explore the egg carrier in Sonic Adventure, I think he's got a gym somewhere.
I remember he
swimming
has
pool,
this big swimming pool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the swimming pool.
And there's a future episode of Sonic X I'm really looking forward to watching again. It's the one where Eggman beats the shit out of a whole bunch of alligators with his bare hands. It's great.
Oh, wow. I see that.
Yeah, that's probably something in the Japanese version.
No, it was in the English version. I loved it.
There we go. Plenty to look forward to. Yeah.
It's funny because it happened off screen. Eggman pops out of a porthole on his ship and there's a whole bunch of alligators, and then it cuts away to Deco and Boko, and then it comes back to Eggman and all of the alligators are unconscious.
Including Vector?
Vector's a crocodile, excuse you?
Yeah, I don't think Vector was introduced at that time, but I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the show.
Oh well. But yeah, great stuff. I love the comics. So I love the art style.
And then of course we got a little more screen time for Dr. Starl in this particular issue. We see how he plans ahead, he's already gathered all the Chaos Emeralds, which in some ways that would kind of explain why they were completely absent during the events of Sonic Heroes.
I guess.
And then,
Forces, you mean?
Forces, yeah, that's what I meant. And then we see how much of a big fanboy he is. You're like, oh, I'm willing to do your bidding, sir. But yeah, I always kind of considered Dr. Stalin as a combination of Dr. Finitvis and Thunderbolt the Echidna, both Archie Sonic characters, where Finitvis was more of this calculating, planning, evil villain, definitely one of my favorite villains from Archie Sonic. And Thunderbolt the Chinchilla is just this big fangirl for Robotnik. She's definitely one of the greatest characters from the new continuity.
Fair enough. But yeah, the comic is getting better. I hated it at first because it was so formulaic and focused on just beating up Batniks, but it's starting to become a lot more dynamic. So good stuff coming, as long as you ignore Shadow. Luke, you having any final thoughts on the comic so far?
I think it's all right. I mean, yes, I agree. I do like Dr. Starline, as he's proven to be one of my favourite Sonic villains, not Eggman, and how he's had his own agenda and that.
Indeed, yeah, it gives him a nice dynamic. It's also kind of fun. They show sketches of him, how he looked before, like how much thought they put into it.
It kind of makes me wish that they could put Starline in the games, because he is just as cunning and as evil as Eggman.
Yeah, games could definitely use extra villains.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling we'll be seeing Tangle, Whisper, and Dr. Starline in games very soon.
Well, we already got Tangle and Whisper in the mobile phone game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to add in Dr. Starlin in next.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe in the phone game. I don't know about the main games. I mean, Styx never made it out of the Olympic Games, so but we'll see. I mean, it's clear that the new characters are specifically designed to be gameplay characters, like especially Whisper and Tangle. They're just like they put so much gameplay thought into them, like just already bagging to be playable characters. But yeah, what's the point if we don't get any other playable characters in Sonic? So, but yeah, we'll see what the Sonic Rangers will do.
Yeah, go Sonic Rangers!
Yeah, I think we haven't touched much about very little what we've given about Sonic Prime, because all we got was a logo, and they mentioned something about Sonic being in some sort of Shadowverse, and he has to redeem himself or something.
Yeah. The only other info I've heard about was one of the show creators saying that Sonic Prime will have a similar tone to Generator Rex. And I'm like, oh, okay. I've never seen Generator Rex, so I have no idea what they mean by that.
It's a bit on YouTube.
Guess you just have to watch now. That was their trick all along to get the extra views.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to give Sonic Prime a chance, but my expectations for it are pretty low, mostly because I'm still very bitter about the last time we had a Sonic TV show.
Well, this is at least going to be different, but yeah, I don't have too high expectations either. So I guess we'll reach the end of the stream. Anyone has anything left to say?
No, I'm alright.
Go watch Luke as Alfred in Lego Batman.
Absolutely.
And watch all the way through so you can actually see him, unlike
Sorry.
Well, I might as well plug in my bit. It's like, oh, make sure to check out the last episode of Forgotten Media's Ozma that I just got done posted. So I'm surprised I was able to get it up on time, because recently I had to deal with getting the second dose of the COVID vaccine.
Oof, yeah, that does quite a number on people, I hear.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say it, and I was kind of expecting the worst, but the only stuff I had to deal with was mostly just a headache and sore joints. That's how it was yesterday. Nowadays I'm feeling a lot better. So yeah, I guess I lucked out on that.
Fair enough. Okay, lucky you. But yeah, we'll go watch. Melting Man does a lot of videos about obscure Wizard of Oz adaptations. At least this month, usually he does all kinds of adaptations. So
yeah, I just got done doing all these different versions of Oz. The last one I just posted was definitely the weirdest reimagining of Oz. That being the wonderful galaxy of Oz.
I don't know if you've seen it, but did you know about this? I think it happened on a couple of years ago. There was this TV show that was like a modern retelling of Oz that was like a bit more realistic, a bit more gritty. I mean, from the trailer, it doesn't really appeal to me that much.
You mean the Emerald City TV series?
I think so. Yeah, it was live action.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've mostly heard some details from when James Rolfe talked about it when he covered some of the Oz books and films. But yeah, I haven't seen the series for myself. I know it was very short-lived, only lasted like 10 episodes. But yeah, maybe I'll cover that if I decide to do Oz Month for next year.
Can fill a whole live stream about that, and then bring up the Super Earthworm Jim and the Muppets version as well. Why not?
Oh yeah, the Muppets version. That was like the last time they did a Muppets film, and then they went silent for years until...
Yeah, I think it was like the last storybook Muppet film they did.
Yeah.
What a shame.
And as for me, since the Game Grumps have started playing Link's Awakening, I am currently working on another Dan Without Context video, because I love making those. If you could check out my previous one about A Link Between Worlds, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Alright, I'll try to add a link later, if you give it to me. So, I guess we're done chilling now, so thank you all for joining me again for this video. Hope it wasn't too boring, and we'll see you in 2 weeks again then.
See ya!
Bye.